Hello and welcome to Walk the Talk Show. I'm honored to be joined today by Lyndsey and Jesse Manderson of Zero Market. And so Lyndsey, Jesse, for those of us who don't know, which is I think all of us, since I don't know and I consider myself an environmentalist nerd, what are some simple steps to go to zero waste in our own lives?
Well, if you don't have access to someplace like Zero Market, which obviously no one does because it's a very new endeavor, one really easy thing, if you have farmers markets in your area, is utilize those farmers markets as much as you can. In Vancouver here, we have them every weekend in various locations, and there's lots of fresh local produce, lots of local, baked goods, and all sorts of different products that you can find without plastic. Although you will find plastic at farmers markets as well. It's a really good place to start. Really narrows it down. You don't have to be inside of some huge supermarket. It's a good place to start for sure.
So there's no packaging. Basically, there is some plastic packaging. Obviously, you can bring your own bags. You can bring your own tote bags, your own bulk bags.
Yeah. We bring our own produce bags. You can buy the little netted produce bags that are reusable, and yeah, like you said, all sorts of reusable bags to use and containers.
Whenever you have the option between plastic or glass or stainless steel, always choose the one that's not plastic, because even if it does say recyclable, it's never actually recyclable. So.
Right, that's a great one. So stainless steel, glass over plastic, and remember that plastic really is not recyclable fundamentally.
Even if it has a little number on the bottom, it's still...
You never know how it's being treated, right? And plus, there's the whole fact of plastic bottles are typically made out of more than one kind of plastic. So you look at a Coke bottle where the cap and then the little ring that busts off when you open the cap, those are all different kinds of plastic. So typically some of that plastic is always getting thrown away in recycling places. They'll take the cap or the little ring can't be recycled. So there's always little pieces that aren't being recycled, even if that bottle is. So it's better to avoid it at all costs instead of someone to deal with.
They are recycled. It's a pretty toxic process, and they degrade quickly when they get recycled.
Yep.
It's just not a good
thing. Yeah.
Another thing is if you can't find something that is not in something that's plastic, then this is a good opportunity to make your own. Kind of venture out there. Look at the internet is filled with all of these different wonderful recipes for toothpaste and deodorant and things to style your hair with, all of that stuff. So pick one, try it out, and you'll probably be pretty thrilled with the outcome. So yeah.
Awesome.
Another one is composting your food, composting all your food scraps. It's really easy to just build a little box. In Vancouver here, we're lucky we have we have a separate bin for our food scraps where all the yard trimmings and stuff, you can actually throw your food scraps in that bin and the city takes them away, and they're actually phasing out food scraps in the garbage. Not every city has that, but if you don't have that, it's really simple to have a little box on your property, or even having something under your sink that you can empty into that box, and go back and forth. Figuring out some way that you can compost is really good. You should never really throw your food scraps.
This is a big one because something I've read different stats, but some really high percentage of trash is compostable.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an amazing way to get rid of 80% of your waste.
Anything organic, pretty much. So that also includes paper towels, and cardboard is actually compostable. So if you have a pizza box, you can actually just cut that up and put it in the compost. Stuff like that. But in Denver, there are companies that will pick up your compost for you. Outside of Denver, it kind of varies from city to city or county to county, really.
And if you're in an apartment, what do you do compost-wise? Bring it to a local garden or what?
You can. I mean, we have that option here. There are community gardens with compost. That is something you could do.
You can also, get together with other people in your apartment complex, and possibly, if there's space somewhere, you have a courtyard, you could have a community sort of compost starting, which would make it actually more,
You do definitely, depending where you are, you do have to sometimes take some extra steps to do it. Whether you have a friend in their house, they have a big compost, and you can take it over there and put it in their compost, or you have a compost at work or something. But there are options. You just kind of, it takes a little extra effort, but.
Well, if you've been looking for a weak excuse to go meet that cute, neighbor.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh.
Hey, can I use your compost?
Hey, can our food rot together?
Yeah.
I think something crazy like 80% of garbage in the house comes from the kitchen, and then about half of that, depending on your diet, but half, maybe a little bit less than half, is from food scraps. So it's a lot of stuff that you could just be not throwing away and then using it for. If you have a garden, compost is wonderful. Like, plants love that nutrient-dense compost that comes out from properly letting your food rot in the right way. So it's
awesome. Okay.
Another thing.
That's another thing, honey. I mean, we use a car co-op. That's something, sometimes you need a car. We have kids. We don't own a car, though. And there are car co-ops out there, Obviously, it's not zero waste, but it's working towards that zero waste. It's definitely taking a lot more impact off of the planet. And
if you don't travel too far, you can ride your bike. It's a great opportunity to get more exercise. Go for a walk instead of driving your car 10 blocks or whatever.
Ride your bike to the farmer's market, and you're killing it. Yes. So
that's exactly what I do. I'm very proud of myself right now.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, bring your own bags to the grocery store. Avoid those. I think, did we already talk about that?
A little bit, yeah. Just always using reusable bags, usable containers. It's something you really have to think about when you're trying to live zero waste. Is you kind of have to always carry something with you. You always have to have sort of a. If you go to eat, you need a container to put your waste or your extras in, your leftovers.
Right.
As opposed to getting them to package it up in. Typically, a lot of places still use styrofoam, unfortunately, and stuff that. There are businesses that use the biodegradable stuff, but you never really know unless you ask beforehand. So it's always good to have one of those little metal or glass containers, having something for water.
Straws are a big thing too.
Yeah, avoiding straws. If straws are a huge problem, they don't get recycled. Every restaurant and coffee shop will give you a straw in certain drinks if you don't say no.
Or when you order, say no straw.
No straw.
No straws is a really good thing to always keep in mind. And having utensils if you're going to eat out somewhere, or just always being prepared and having those things prepared so you don't have to accidentally, oops, I got to use this plastic fork now. And
right. Just put out your chopsticks or your little fork or whatever. To Go Ware is a great company. I'm sure you know it.
Yeah.
And then secondhand stuff, right?
Yes.
Nothing new. Try to avoid buying anything new. We already have so many things already on this planet that we don't need to buy something that's new, because more than likely that exact thing that you want is already created and it's already been used by someone else, and it's probably still in very good condition. So use Craigslist, go to the thrift store.
Sorry, I was going to just say, people are often concerned about green stuff being more expensive. It's an amazing way to spend money or save money getting something really nice off of Craigslist or a yard sale or.
Exactly. And it's fun because if you go to thrift stores or you go to garage or yard sales, you find those treasures that you didn't maybe think that you were going to find before if you just went straight to the store and bought something new.
And then you two were saying you refuse a lot of gifts, or you try and get people to give you only gifts that are mindfully created.
Yeah, especially with having kids, it's kind of a stance we had to take with our friends and our, especially family, grandparents, is no new, plastic toys, no really any plastic toys. We don't even want reusable plastic stuff. We have enough,
Right.
And, try to encourage people, if you want to get something for them, books is a good thing to get, and no new clothes, like we said. We can take care of that. We don't really need any new stuff. So yeah, try to get people on the same page as you as far as birthdays and Christmas go and stuff like that. Yeah.
It can be tricky being a zero waste household because you don't really think about this stuff until something shows up at your door and you're like, oh, whoops, I forgot to tell you, actually. I don't have a trash can, so not really sure what to do with this, this tag or whatever. So letting people know that are close to you in your life that you're trying to lower your amount of waste that you have in your life. So yeah, for those unexpected surprises.
Yeah, I drink a lot of coffee, too much, as anyone who's seen my hand shake all the time can tell. And every cafe I go to, they're like, for here or to go, even people who I've been ordering for here from for years. And so I every single time my reply is, I'm always for here. Your coffee's way too good.
Mug.
A couple times a year you'll say for here, and they'll give it to you to go anyway, and you're like, oh, you know.
Yeah, that's the other thing is to go. You know, when you're getting coffee, always remember your to go mugs, and you don't have to deal with their paper and plastic. It's you know, I've made that mistake. You know, when we started transitioning into this, it's like running out the door with the kids, and you get halfway to the coffee shop, it's like, oh God, I've turned around. You turned around, you know, enough times to count on my hands that, yeah, I forgot it.
It's
so yeah,
like
getting into that habit.
This never leave home without it bag. You know, bring yourself a bag with a to-go cup, a straw, some silverware, and maybe a little container, just in case you decide to get something to eat while you're out.
That's the thing too with the no straws. You can get the metal straws, and you can get bamboo straws that are, you know, the reusable straws that you can carry around with yourself.
And there's glass straws too.
And glass straws, yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so this zero waste thing isn't just about waste, it's also about our health, obviously. For much more on the entire zero waste lifestyle, you can watch our full video, which is 4.5 hours long. No, it's only 40 minutes. And Lyndsey and Jesse Manderson of Zero Market, thank you so much for the top 10 ways to go zero waste.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care, man.